morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us on the platform on Flow FM.
Mike, it's my pleasure also. As usual, I want to thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Chief. Now, at such a time when Nigeria seems to be on the break, you have always clamored that the president speaks to the citizen on the maybe the State of the Union. Well, he spoke yesterday. You heard him. We just relayed part of that speech this morning, and I'm sure you have the script. So, to you, Chief, was that a soothing balm or a stoke in the fire?
Well, that statement came to me as a rude shock, and that is because there is what is called protocol of power, and by extension of offices, especially public offices. What we are supposed to be having is democracy. So sometimes I feel very embarrassed when I see our leaders use certain terms and temperaments and then even go to the field to take certain actions. It's just across the board. The question of having democracy and then having less Democrats to play the game. Democracy is supposed to go with a certain temperament, some principles, and that includes civility in action. So most of our leaders across board, local government chairmen, members in the legislature, even in the political parties. You see somebody, I had just last week, somebody, a member of the House of Representatives from Jigawa was suspended from the party because he queried the way the governor went about party primaries, issue of internal democracy. And he said, and the party said, why would you challenge a governor? And then he was suspended. So that should throw some concerns. The temperament ought not to be that of terrible anger from the points of power. No. Yeah, the issues may be grave. You just said in one of your adverts there, you said, you mentioned something, you said, after elections come governance, and that governance come with its baggages. Yes, that is exactly why we say leaders must emerge. We put it there to look at different tendencies of the people and then to come up with solutions. Some of them may be terrible, and that is why it's called a society. People invented the word deviance. Deviance means there will always be deviancy, aberration in terms of behavior. And then it's not in the place of a president or a governor to respond in the magnitude that deviants act. Their acts may be very repulsive. Nobody, no sane person will tolerate, will sanction or approve violence. None. Not to talk of killing people, nobody. But in responding to it under democracy, one, our weddings and outposts, especially from the leadership, must be tempered. And then the intention will be to show governance. That didn't apply in this case. I have often had dealing ruthlessly in a democracy. Governors will use it, their aides will use it, will deal ruthlessly. You don't do ruthlessly with civilian population, no matter how previous.
Okay.
You can say we view this development with all seriousness, and we want to assure that we will respond in the most appropriate way possible, and that will be soonest. There's always a language for democracy because you are dealing with people and society. And then in this speech yesterday, you will see said deal ruthlessly. You begin to make allusions to civil war. We all agree that the civil war is one that dislodged our society, distorted a lot of things, and each time that things concern the East, some people are never tired of making reference to the civil war. I think that is not healthy. Then you say you treat them in the language they understand. Government should never be seen, especially under democracy, to be a purveyor of violence. No. I think that what is at stake ought to be leadership, and that has been the bane of our society. Leadership with vision and capacity. That one has been part of leadership, leadership, vision, and capacity. One that is capable of lifting the people and the society. That has been something lacking. And I think part of the problems we have had across Middle Belt, Southeast now, Southwest, even in the Northeast, has been the inability of the leadership at various levels. Presidency, the governorships, legislators, to manage our diversities in such a way that they turn out to be a little more advantageous in terms of development of our nation. Every problem that we are talking about, the president says, I treat them in the language they understand. I wish you also respond in the language of agitators. Certainly in the Northeast, there are people pushing that agenda. With our security system, we ought to have identified them. It was the case in River State. Guns were flowing, things were happening.
So are you saying that with the president's statement yesterday, it is just going to add more fire to the already burning firewood?
That is what I'm saying. The Democrats has a temperament, and when you exit from that, then you add to the problem. You don't compare. You don't compound a terrible situation by bringing government apparatus to also be in that direction. So that's the statement of dealing ruthlessly, statement of making allusions to civil war and its effect, and that those who deal with them, we are already seeing violence.
So, Chief, what would have been an appropriate statement from the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces to the agitators in different parts of the country, looking at
a central language that what is happening is unacceptable, both to civilized conduct, and should never be tolerated anywhere. That my government will move assiduously from different directions to ensure we restore perfect order, peace and tranquility. And then, since he is talking about language we understand, then you go ahead and show democratic language and understanding of it. Let people move out and ask people, say, what is happening in the Northeast? Who are those? Gumi said, Gumi, the really Sheikh Gumi, if I hope that is his name. He has told us that negotiations is possible. This man visits the forest. So what is holding a delegation to say, well, lead us, let's talk with these people and we'll see. There's nothing wrong in that. Even Americans negotiate. You come to the East, these people have been talking secession and all that. It can be political agitation. And you can say, come, who amongst you in the East have a reach to these people? Can they come? Let us listen. And we have said that the national conference has become an idea whose time has come. So what is wrong in gathering a few people? So unless they give us people, this one, because you people talk of expenditure. What is expenditure over lives? You said gather. Now tell me from the South or South, what is the issue currently? We are talking of nepotism. That's why I say we will not manage our diversities in such a way that it can be productive. In such a way it can help. We are talking of nepotism, and somebody is there. You've not started it. You are talking about language of violence, but you have not said, okay, Southeast people are shouting about being removed from my government. But let me give them this opportunity. There was opportunity to appoint an Igbo man head of civil defense. That one was botched. Why don't you say, I wouldn't ask a Northerner, given where we are today, to give us chief of army staff. But you could have given that, okay, is that the problem now? Then you change your inner cabinet a bit and bring in one of your big friends, but with a name from the Southeast, and you throw them over and say, okay, come in.
Okay, just a moment, Chief. Let me digress a bit. The ongoing national constitution review, it is ongoing. The zonal public hearing is ongoing at different parts of the country. Don't you think it is going to address some of these issues that the agitators are clamoring for in different parts of the country? The issue of the presidency having a lot of issues on his exclusive list, like about 70 something of them, and
the issues are the issues bothering Nigeria. If you want me to tell you the truth, the issues bothering our country as of today that I'm talking to you is far above what the National Assembly and the State Assembly combined can handle. We are talking about the soul of Nigeria, remolding that soul. So people must come sing together and they ask themselves a critical question. The progress of Nigeria will come from a consensus agreement that all of us want to be Nigerians. That one is very possible. After we say we want to be Nigerian, we now say, what are the grand norms? I listened to somebody who said constitutional amendment. If you begin from the first paragraph, you may need to change everything. The one that says, we, Nigerian people, gave us that constitution. We didn't do that. It was the military. Now begin from there and tell me how many items you will change. One, you have issues as small as governors defecting with people's mandate. And what does the law say there? It doesn't say anything. He mentions only the members of the legislature. And then he puts a caveat, a terrible caveat, that will undermine the system if your party is quarreling. So those who want to escape from the National Assembly or state, they will now go and instigate trouble in their local government. They say my party is quarreling. That shouldn't be the case. So the point I'm making, Ekwemadu just said on Sunday, in Sunday's Sun, a very beautiful interview, he said, the level of amendment you will do will make people forget, those who will need to quote that law. He said some people will still be hanging to the old one, not knowing the part that was changed. And I agree. What we're talking is about the soul. Let us meet.
So if you're talking about the soul, Chief, it means you're talking about the 1999 Constitution.
That's the one we're holding, and we're saying that we need a new constitution.
Interesting.
Written by the people. Nigerians want a new constitution that will reflect what we agree, so that people can be subject to it. It's not a question of the 1990. We said the 1990 constitution was given to us by a usurper body, and we agree that military power is an aberration and nobody wants it. What we're talking about, let us sit down again, given what we're seeing, east, west, north, central, that, and then we agree for ourselves. Say we want a soul, we bring back a soul, a living soul, make Nigerian society an organic society. Organic society is a society that has life. It can live, it can say, it can speak. It doesn't just come cheaply, it doesn't come mechanically.
Okay,
there
Chief,
must be a breadth of life.
Chief, let me take you back to the president's statement. The implication of that statement now with what we're experiencing in the country, agitation from different parts of the country, plus insecurity bedeviling the nation. What are the things we are expected to see from the president's message to the masses yesterday, and also from the agitators? Okay.
Certainly, it is beginning to dampen enthusiasm, and there is likely to be seen in an escalation of already what people are crying about: abuse of human rights and possibly extrajudicial killings. That is not what we want. Yes, all these issues he mentioned are extremely very abhorrent. No decent person will subscribe to violence. The one way of healing it, because it's a society of human beings, one way of doing it is, look at Governor Okezi. I want to commend him. I am from Abia, for instance. We are talking security. He suddenly gathered people from different backgrounds and from different sections, traditional rulers, to say, give me an idea. It doesn't mean he hadn't a solution. He had a solution, but he said, okay, let me see from other perspectives that I may not be aware. And I hope he goes on to implement some of those decisions with dispatch. That is how to approach. Then the people buy into it. Nigerians need to talk to themselves, and I'm serious about it.
When you say Nigerians need to talk to themselves, are you calling for another national confab?
If you like, call it national confab. If you don't want that, gather some eggheads that will be representative. Let them sponsor themselves. It's not about money. Let us go and again. Nigerians want to hear themselves.
It's a nagging question right now. How much promoted national discussion by different groups can assuage the frayed nerves and restore normalcy?
It will, because the other one, not that they didn't want it, not that we didn't want the past conferences. The problem is that a section that have always carried the advantage. I've always said, we don't recognize this, we don't recognize that. We are saying now, do the one that everybody come, put a gathering that all of them, now that the chief section that was always always against is in power. I said, put your own now. Put your own now. They then define the modality. We can say, bring those past one as working document. Bring the things the National Assembly have tried to do in the past as a working document. That means in less than 3 months you can have a new constitution. Let's go. He said it's good to dance around the language of the people. Our language now is that 2/3 of this country is demanding that let us talk to ourselves. And this is democracy. Why are we afraid of talking? Let us sit down in the next 1 month and say, okay, what is this issue we are clamoring? What is it? One man cannot do it. The making of a nation is the tax of the plurality. It's not a tax for one government. No one person can do it. Not even Igbo presidents. So if the people are still saying it's part of past experiences, and they are saying let's sit down and meet, I think what is wrong?
Chief
Simple as that.
Chief Raf Egbu, I want to really appreciate you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning on the platform on Flow FM. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Do enjoy the rest of your day.